All right, there we go.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United
United
States of America
and to the republic
For which it stands,
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Fort Lee Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published on March 21st, 2020, and posted in the entrance hall of the board office, 2175 Lemoyne Avenue, published in the board's designated online media outlet newspaper, The Record, filed with the clerk of the borough of Fort Lee, and mailed to all persons, if any, who have requested said notice. Please be advised that this meeting is being taped and may be broadcasted on local TV and the district's website at a future date. By law, the state of New Jersey has vested tremendous discretion in the board to do whatever is necessary to conduct its business. NJSAA 18A11-1 allows boards to make, amend, and repeal rules not inconsistent with this title or with the rules of the state board for its own government and the transaction, sorry, my computer just went to sleep. For its own government and the transaction of its business, and for the government and management of the public schools and public school property of the district. The Open Public Meeting Act allows for remote participation at board meetings and defines meeting as any gathering, whether corporeal or by means of communication equipment, which is attended by or open to all of the members of a public body, held with the intent on the part of the members of the body present to discuss or act as a unit upon the specific public business of that body. Roll call, please.
Okay, please unmute your microphone. Ms. Cho.
Here.
Ms. Colbath.
Present.
Mr. DeMeglio.
Here.
Ms. Morell.
Here.
Ms. Richter.
She's having problems unmuting. So
Okay,
she's
I can
waiting here, but
I can unmute for her.
okay.
Here. Oh, wait, you can mute me when I want to talk? Oh, no.
Here.
Real life.
Mr. Rubino.
Too, actually.
Ms. Stuck.
Here.
Ms. Han Silver.
Here.
You have quorum.
All right. The board convened executive session at 6:45 today to discuss legal personnel and other confidential matters. Mr. Rhoda, will you begin by sharing the superintendent's report?
Sure. Thank you, Ms. Han Silver. Brief report tonight. First, our HIV report. We had 8 investigations from the last meeting. We were founded, and the details of those investigations were discussed with the board in closed session. I would like to I got a late request this afternoon that we table motion 4P.
That we what?
We table motion 4P. That is a resignation of one of our staff members. I was contacted late today to request that we delay that. I have no problem making that recommendation that we table it. And my final piece of my report simply is that we are into week 2 of our online instruction. We did make some changes based on feedback from teachers and parents. I don't think this is the last time we're going to be making changes. This is a very fluid situation. I think we're going to be adjusting and making changes as this moves forward the best we can. Our teachers are working hard. They're advancing their skills and trying to catch up and do what they need to do to make sure that instruction continues and it's appropriate and valuable instruction. So I think we're doing a solid job, but I'm sure we'll have more improvements, more changes as this situation continues to develop. That's all I have, Ms. Sonsilver.
Okay.
Ken, I just have one question about the 4P, about the resignation.
Yes.
Ken, is he leaving to go someplace else? Because I don't want to hold him up if he is.
The request came from him.
Okay, perfect. I thought you said a board member. Thank you.
The request came from him to delay that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Superintendent Rhoda. Do we have any committee reports?
I just want to say 2 sentences. March 7th, there was a legislative committee meeting in Trenton and a finance committee meeting in Trenton. All the issues that were discussed were fascinating to me at the time, but there's much more important things to talk about. But I just wanted to let the group know that those meetings were held and they were productive. And maybe in the future, some of that'll become more relevant than it is tonight.
Okay, thank you. All right. Do board members have questions or comments on tonight's agenda or any other topic? Oh, Lauren, you're muted.
Thank you. Is now a good time to dive a little bit into the distance learning?
Woohoo!
Sure. if you'd
Yeah.
like.
Okay. So we have not been able to convene the curriculum committee in the break over the last week, but I was curious if the decision-making rubric has changed at all, and like what that process looks like, and who's involved in terms of the week-to-week. Is it coming from the county, the state, us, Dr. Amato and Ken yourself? Can you give us a little insight into that?
I'm not sure, what are you referring to, Mr. Tuck?
So both the duration of the distance learning as well as what content may or may not change.
Oh, okay. As far as the duration of the process, we are waiting to hear from the county or the state. As you know, the governor's order closed the school, and I don't believe that we can reopen without his permission. I have a meeting, actually several meetings this week with county representative, the county superintendent. Hopefully one of the topics will be, are we extending the closure, or do we have a potential date for reopening? So far, I have no information related to it. As far as the content, we are going to continue to deliver content according to our curriculum. And that's really what we base it on. We're following the state standards so that we are in line with what hopefully everybody else is doing, covering our standards as best we can. And as I said, this is a learning process. I think the teachers are getting better every day, and we'll be trying more and more different things as the time goes on. Conservatively, I hate to say it out loud, but I don't think we're going to be open at the end of next year. I think this will be delayed for a while, but we don't have anything official yet from either the Commissioner of Education or the Governor's office.
So can I have a question on that? Because I heard from like parents from lots of different schools, and I also observed like my own son's like workload. And like week 1, I was like delighted. It was like, it was a transition, but like he had his accounting honors class, 7:45 every single morning. And there's like an accounting test he's expected to take at the end. And at least at the high school, and I think it was put in place for all schools, like suddenly that class, and it is only 2 days a week. And Fridays, it's like, he's like, Mom, I got Fridays off. And I heard from many parents at the middle school and the intermediate school, less, I think, at the elementary, about like the rigor. Someone sent me something, my son was done at 10 o'clock this morning. What's going on? And so like the first week seemed to be much more rigorous and working. At least, I can only say, like, no one called, and I saw my son, kind of pulling his hair out because he had a lot of work to do. And then this week, there's like a huge difference. So how did we go from like 0 to 60 to like where we are? And is it the idea that we'll ramp up? And because like a sophomore has to take SATs next year. So I don't have the answers for and everything seemed to be working much better. And then we got this major change, which made no sense.
Well, the change was discussed amongst the principals and the other administrators in the district. We've been talking about this almost daily since the start of last week. And this was based upon feedback from teachers and also feedback from parents. So as I said, it's a change. We'll probably change again. This is day one of the new process. The process is different also at the elementary level than it is from the intermediate and the middle and the high school. So there are different formats for the different grade levels, which the teachers and administrators felt were age appropriate. Now, I'm not saying there'll probably be more adjustments going forward, but there are going to be adjustments. We're trying to work our way through this. So as I said, this was just day one. I am meeting tomorrow morning with the principals and discussing any feedback I have tonight with them.
Can I add one thing, because it's a direct piggyback off of Paula. I also wanted to just take a minute to thank you publicly for your leadership at this time. And Paula didn't touch on the elementary school age, so to add to that, some of the feedback I got was if there could be some district-wide guidance on how many hours a day, because in fact, what some parents had researched was that it should only be, say, 2 hours for kids K through 4, and they should not be doing 6 straight hours of academic rigor as a 6 or 7-year-old. And so some of the teachers have been sending out notes individually, but perhaps in your next message or discussion with principals, that would be some guidance that could be well received.
Yeah, and as I said, this is going to be a learning process. The teachers, we were planning to give them time to prep. We didn't have time because the governor closed the schools, and they were making a lot of this up. They're working online. They're working with their colleagues trying to figure out what to do. But I think we're going to see a constant improvement in how it's being delivered and what's being delivered. It's going to be, a series of adjustments and course adjustments as we go through this. And from K to 12.
I can only speak as far as my situation goes. And I can tell you that Sammy has been contacted by each teacher. When he asks questions, he sends the email, they get right back to him. Every teacher has been on top of all the assignments, where the turnover is like the next day as far as grading and things of that nature. And he's even been contacted by his guidance counselor regarding scholarships or college, or what the process is as far as like nothing has stopped. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like kudos to them. And I don't know who came up with the block scheduling for the high school, but that was ingenious. I really do think so. And it's Paula, just to let you know, some of the classes are Monday and Wednesday, but then Fridays for all the classes, from what I'm understanding from the feedback from the teachers, is that's their exit day. So they should be in contact, or Bill should be in contact with all of them that day.
Right. As I said, this is going to be a learning process. We're going through it day by day. Tomorrow morning, I'll be talking with all the principals, sharing this feedback I got and any feedback they received. I've been encouraging the parents to reach out directly to the school principals if they have feedback or comments. I know I've seen some. I'm sure I'm not seeing all of them. But I think overall, we're heading in the right direction. Like I said, it's going to be, this is something new. It's precedent setting. We're doing the best we can right now, and I think we're doing a very good job with it, but there's always room for improvement. And, part of that is balancing workload and time and figuring out where the right blend actually is. But as I said, this is day number 6, the first day of the new week.
If I could actually say a couple things. Is it district-wide? I know for 5th grade, originally
Elisa, I can't hear you.
Elisa froze.
You can't hear me?
You
No.
froze there, Lisa.
Little
You
bit.
momentarily
Me now?
froze, but now you're okay.
All right. So I know that in 5th grade, in the beginning, when we first started, there was a time, or the assignments were due at 3 p.m. or 3:01 or 3:15 or something like that. And then that changed to 11:59. Is that district-wide for all grades, or is it just for, depending on the teacher and the grade?
No, we tried to relax that time, particularly for the younger students, because a lot of parents may not be available during the day to provide help to get the kids through their work. So that by having a 3 o'clock shutdown, it kind of hurt some of the parents who may not be available to work with the kids through their processes. You know, it's one of those things where we made an adjustment. We may adjust back the other way. I'm not sure. We're gonna see how it works.
The only thing that I could see could be problematic is the fact that they had to go from school instruction by an educator to now independent learning, and that's like, whoa, that's kind of scary, and it's difficult.
Yeah, and one thing I'd ask you to keep in mind is, this is a big picture scenario, and we're in this for the long run. Some states have already canceled school for the remainder of the year. Now, I'm hoping that we don't do that or have to do that, but we have to keep in mind that this is going to be an ongoing process, and if you watch the news, you see the situation changes daily.
Yeah, we're basically this is a uncharted territory for the kids, the parents, the teachers, the administrators. So everyone's kind of in, uncharted waters together. We're all kind of, going through this new frontier together. So we all kind of have to be patient with each other, I think. And, we're all learning and adjusting and adapting as we all go along. And I think they're open to feedback. So I would say encourage the parents that you hear from to contact their building principal, because that's why these adjustments are happening, because of the feedback they are receiving. So I think the more feedback that they receive, the better that it would be, so then they hear more and they know exactly what the experiences are for the students. That would be good.
Also, and just part of this is that every day we're receiving more information from vendors who are providing free online services to schools. So when we get information or we get things related to instruction, we try and vet them quickly and then get them out to the staff if we think they're worthwhile. So as we're providing more opportunities for the staff, we may have more, different processes that'll be coming down the line.
Can I ask another question? Sorry. So when it comes to testing, I think President Trump had said that he's getting rid of nationwide testing. Has there been any directive at the state level or any changes?
I love it when you throw me a softball, Elisa. Thank you.
You're
The
welcome.
president has waived the federal requirement for testing. Basically, what he's done is made that option for the states to decide. As of today, I have not heard anything from the DOE or from the governor's office regarding waiving state testing.
We heard that.
To that end, do we know of any districts reaching out to the governor's office and team on both those issues, making a recommendation one way or the other? Obviously, they have more information from the health department, but in the interest of allowing our parents and families the ability to plan, is there something going on?
Yeah, Lauren, I can tell you that the State Superintendent's Association has already reached out to the governor's office making that recommendation. I'm not sure about the Principals Association. I'm sure they'll be following suit. So several groups have, and I know some local politicians have as well. I've already reached out and expressed their opinions as well. I would encourage you to contact our local legislators and share your opinion with them.
So it might be good, like as a board, if we formed a position and contacted the legislators, I think it would have more impact.
I was gonna ask, is it more impactful for us to adopt an actual formal resolution, or for us to just send a letter as a collective board?
I would think a letter and, you know, trying to have like a video meeting or a conference call with them.
I mean, can we reach out to NJSBA for a little bit of guidance on this, or?
Their guidance is that we should be meeting with our legislators on a regular basis, at least twice every quarter to begin with.
Right.
I mean, that's what they come down on the legislative committee. Like, this is what we should be doing as a regular course of action. So I'm happy to take the lead on a letter to circulate to everyone on these issues.
Sounds good.
That would be great. I think something like this needs immediate, you know, we got to push them to take immediate action. It's just one less thing for people to worry about, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Understood.
I'm happy to help Paula if you need it.
Okay, great. I'll send you a draft and then we could circulate it to the wider group.
Okay.
Okay.
So Ken, what are we doing these days, like with paraprofessionals and bus drivers? I know that came up at a county meeting today and they wanted feedback as to what districts were doing with those employees.
Well, right now, the paraprofessionals are doing online training. We've added additional online training for them, particularly in the special ed area. There's some good resources out there. The bus drivers have been in cleaning the buses, sanitizing the buses, and hopefully they'll be back to work very soon on a more definite basis.
As it relates to bus drivers as well, business administrators have been talking about that. Bus drivers and bus aides. Right now, what we're planning to do is to pay them. They are not in daily, but our plan is to pay them their average hours worked. So if they usually work 5 hours for a bus route, we are planning to pay them that for now, for various reasons. So that is our position. They also, like the paraprofessionals, have additional training that we've asked them to do. A lot along the lines of special education as well, since most of our transportation is for special ed. But that is a topic that business administrators are talking about. We only have 8 bus drivers and I think 4 aides. There are some larger districts that of course have larger numbers, so it's a more challenging issue for them as it relates to the budget, but we think the right thing to do is to continue now as we have them. The other option is unemployment, which does not pay at 100%. So that is our course for now.
And is it the same for OT,
Can I ask actually what's going
PT,
on
and
with
speech?
security guards?
It depends if they are outsourced or our own people. We have a combination of related service providers. Some are outsourced, so that would be going through their whatever company they work for. The ones who are ours, we're treating the same way as the rest of the staff.
Okay.
Speaking of the OT, PT, how are we handling some of the in-district students who do receive these services?
They're being handled through a variety of ways. They were doing online services. The therapists are recording activities for the students to do at home with their parents. Some direct video conferencing, if it's appropriate in that case. I spoke to Mrs. Davis this morning twice, actually, and she's involved in our principals meeting, and she assures me that everything is going as planned. Services are being rendered as appropriate. So it's really a combination of efforts depending upon the needs of the student.
And the free and reduced lunch has been going well. I saw some restaurants stepped up, which was really amazing.
Yeah, a few restaurants have really stepped up quite a bit. But as far as we're going, really Pomptonian has stepped up quite a bit. They're really handling the bulk of it. We're averaging about 25 to 30 meals a day we're providing. And that's really where we're at right now. Just keep doing it. Pomptonian has been committed to providing those meals. and they also providing the staff in the high school to make it happen. We are providing a security guard there just to help with keep things orderly, but it hasn't really been an issue yet.
But that sounds relatively low to the typical kind of.
Lisa, you froze again, but I
Hey,
think
Lisa, you're breaking up a little bit.
For a district, the 25
I
meals.
think your question was, how's that compare? Yes, it's lower than we normally do on a daily basis, but we advertise, we've contacted those families directly several times and told them what the opportunities are. We haven't had anyone reach out and say they are unable to come pick up the things, so we haven't really had to discuss the idea of delivery, but if people reach out to us and say there's a problem, we may be able to use our bus drivers and put them to work.
The numbers have begun to wane. The numbers started around the 25, 30 range, but now the last 4 days of last week, and I didn't get my text from Eric today, but they're around 17, 18. So now they're hovering a little bit below 20. And of course, with the weather, sometimes that affects it. But I also think the fact that some of the restaurants stepped up also gives parents other options. We've gone from, I think, 2 employees from Pomptonian to just 1 at the high school.
Are we taking advantage of the time now to do a deep cleaning at the high school? Is that taking place? I know you had mentioned the buses, but are we taking advantage of the time now to clean out the high school as best as we can? And the other,
We've been doing deep cleaning since February before this started, because we do it as a routine with our during flu season. We bought the special disinfectant, put extra hours in the evening to wipe things down. That's just our standard practice in flu season. So yes, they've been through there. We still had the cleaning crew coming in up to this week every night, even though the kids weren't there and they were cleaning the rooms. So yes, the buildings are all being thoroughly cleaned and have been.
and the resources that you're using to educate, the kids, from home, are you reaching out to those vendors? Like, is there a possibility that potentially the applications that are using might drop because they're hit with the virus and they can't support you, and then you have to go to Plan B, or are their readiness?
I'm assuming that, that's a very real possibility, Ralph, but we're hoping, our primary source is Google. We're using Google Classroom primarily. If Google goes down, I think
We're all sunk.
we're gonna have a lot of problems.
Yeah, we're all sunk.
So no, we're relying heavily on Google. That's our number one, but we haven't experienced any issues yet with any of the other service providers.
Thank you.
And to that note, do we see any issues with data privacy and protecting district data now that it's so much more is online?
No, our data is safe. Remember, all of our major systems are not located in the building. They're located off-site in off-site servers. Our student data, our financial data, HR data, all those things have for years been located in other locations. So our security level hasn't changed at all.
Okay, great.
All right. If that's it for questions and comments from the board.
Esther, I have one thing for the
Yeah.
group. There is a pending bill that has passed the Senate that I just wanted to bring to your attention. It is S2273, and that legislation, I think it passed the Senate 34-0, with sweeping changes to our healthcare plan in the state. Those changes briefly include reducing the number of plans offered from the 12 that are offered, 10, 15, 20, 35, et cetera, from the, say, 10 that are offered to just 3. Those 3 would be Direct 10, Direct 15, and what's called the Educator's Plan. But the major change is that employees would pay a percentage of salary versus a percentage of premium. This is huge. They have a very aggressive timeline. They would like to implement 7/1/2020, so that's within a couple of months. In speaking with our broker, We think that's a bit aggressive, especially given COVID-19 and the inability to meet and educate employees on what these changes are. The educators plan essentially looks like the direct zero plan, if you guys are familiar with that, with some restrictions on the out of network for chiropractor, acupuncture, and maybe OT and PT. At any rate, I wanted to bring it to your attention. The assembly is meeting this Wednesday, but it is not on their agenda. They are planning to meet on May 4th, and it may be on the May 4th agenda. Again, we don't think, we being myself, and I spoke to Jamie about this as well, and the brokers don't believe that the timeline could possibly work, especially given COVID-19, but it is sweeping changes. It has effects not only on the districts that participate in the state health benefit plan, but private plans. So if you are a district that's not in the state health benefit plan, you are required to offer something like the educator's plan and offer the employee a percentage of salary versus a percentage of premium. So again, sweeping changes planned for 7/1 that will affect employee contributions going forward. And the only other thing I have is to make a motion to postpone indefinitely 4P if there are no questions on that legislation.
Motion.
Can I just ask one question? Just like an order of magnitude. If we went from employees paying a percentage of premium, and I know that you can't put a fine point on it, but percentage of salary would seem to me to be significantly less. Like from a budget perspective, is this like $1 million, $500,000, $100,000, since we're in the budget cycle and this is going to be July 1?
All good questions, all questions that I posed to the broker and to the BAs have been talking about this since last week. I participate as well on the legislative committee for New Jersey Association of School Business Officials, and we sent down comments for review regarding this bill. The answer is a little complicated, Paula, because there's so many unknowns and because regulations have, well, first of all, it has yet to be approved by the assembly, but then regulations will need to be promulgated by the Department of Government Services, I think. So I looked at my own personal plan. I currently am in the Direct 2035 plan. And so if I chose the educator's plan, I'd be paying probably like $1,000 less based on my salary range. So there's still a salary guide. So those making over $100,000 would pay, for example, 7% of premium if it's family, maybe 3.5% if it's singles. And then if you make, below 100,000, but above 65, there's different percentages. So it's going to absolutely depend on how many employees actually opt to enroll in the new educators plan. Essentially, the amount, the difference in contribution is going to be based on how many people move. I'm not sure that educators will be incentivized to move yet if they've been in Direct 10, because I mean they've been in Direct 10 for a long time, and
right?
They have their reasons, and there are some things like Direct Zero as it relates to acupuncture, chiropractic, and OT and PT that would not incentivize some of them to move, and that's why they haven't moved from Direct 10 to Direct Zero. But ultimately, in the year that a lot of employees migrate, we, Fort Lee Board of Education, might see a savings. But then afterwards, it's going to be the Board of Education that's bearing the brunt of premium increases.
So, Hakisha, let me ask you a question. Being that this is as of July 1 for this year, if everything goes according to the way the bill is supposed to, how is that going to affect the budget that we're passing for July 1?
I don't know. There's so many unknowns, Holly, and I was talking to our brokers about, trying to make decisions as it relates to the budget. And it's just really, really hard to do because number one, you're only going to see a change if people move from Direct 10 or Direct 15, and there will only be 3 plans offered, Direct 10, Direct 15, and the educator plan. So I, for example, will have to change my plan because I have the Direct 2035, which will no longer be offered. But there's so many unknowns. There's so many unknowns about the premiums that are going to be charged for educators plan that our brokers didn't even really want to give us any guidance on how it would affect us because it's also heavily dependent upon how many people move to the educators plan. If they all stay in direct,
is this something though that we should be preparing for? I mean, like, is there any way of, I mean, if we finalize our budget, what happens after the fact is what I mean.
well, your business administrator is a pretty conservative budgeter. But you know, quite frankly, no business administrator can plan for this right now. It's a way aggressive timeline, and we have no way in knowing how many people would actually move. I mean, I'm getting a lot of feedback from someone. We've done a lot of educating of our employees. The HR department has done a yeoman's job of educating the employees for them to change, for them to move to a lower cost plan with the same benefits, and it has not worked. So because they feel strongly about Direct 10 or Direct 15, so you know there's no way for us to tell. So I don't have a great answer for you there, other than we're in the same boat as other districts, and quite frankly, districts that are not in the state health benefit plan, they too will have to offer something similar so that it's a percent of salary. But it's huge. It's huge, and it has most business administrators worried. Again, we sent down several comments about the bill, but it's making its way. It's making its way through the process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If no other questions, is there a motion to postpone indefinitely 4P, which is therefore be it resolved that the Fort Lee Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approve the retirement of Joshua Ford?
Motion.
Second.
Ramba.
Wamba and Morel?
Okay, I'm going to do a roll call vote. Ms. Joe?
Yes.
Ms. Colbath?
Yes.
Mr. DeMeglio?
Yes.
Ms. Morel?
Yes.
Ms. Richter?
You just have to unmute her. She can't unmute. She's giving you a thumbs up.
Yes. There she is.
Thank you. Ms. Ramba?
Oh, you're muted, Candy.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Rubino?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Ms. Han Silver?
Yes.
Motion to postpone indefinitely 4P passes.
Okay. Now, may I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Rubino and Ramba. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed or abstentions? Okay. All right. Board Secretary Hakisha Taylor will share how this public comment session will be conducted.
Good evening. There is a raise hand feature in Zoom. You can select that by selecting participants in the middle of your icons at the bottom. And once you select that, the bottom right corner has a raise hand option. If that is difficult for you to navigate to, feel free to actually physically raise your hand or send me a chat message. I will then call on community members in that order to speak. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Are there community members that wish to speak? Bear with us as we.
There's a hand.
Yeah.
You can see a hand?
Julene?
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Please share your comment.
First of all, I hope everybody's safe and healthy and well. And
Thank you.
I want to start by, applauding everybody for doing such a great job. Teachers, Dr. Daniello, Mr. Rhoda, the whole board, everybody. In getting some feedback of my own, I'm just wondering, what do you think is going to happen with any kind of video teaching? Are we going to try to move towards that? I have two different kids, and it's been quite difficult for one of them in the 5th grade to kind of grasp what's happening, just being given some work to do and not really, being in class, and distant learning not really being for him. It's been difficult, and I'm hearing this from a lot of parents. Wondering if there could be any kind of interaction, Mr. Rhoda, with the teachers. Will they be taping things? I know some of Ella's teachers have made videos, and it's been quite helpful. Just wondering, I know it's an ever-evolving thing and everybody's working on it, but is that an idea?
Yeah, as I said, the process is going to change
Right.
daily. The teachers are working on things. We're providing a lot of resources for them. It's probably a lot of times a comfort level for the teacher as they develop their own skills. So yes, things are going to change. I think as we go on, teachers are going to be moving more towards the video activities as this gets prolonged.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. I was kind of on the about what Paula said. I was kind of in agreement. I don't, every child is different, so I'm sure there are those that are struggling. I'm sure that there are those that are doing their work quickly. I know that one of the suggestions, a few of the suggestions, and I think you spoke about it before, which I thought was good, is maybe doing more project-based assignments so that, the kids could work and take, the time necessary and not be done with like a worksheet in maybe 10 minutes or so. Kind of that kind of suggestion moving forward.
Yeah, the differentiation of instruction for each student's needs is really a challenge in this format. And that's something the teachers will keep learning and getting better at as we move forward.
Yeah, and they're doing great. This is not to mock or anything. I support everything that's going on, just to give ideas, Please don't take it that way. But everyone, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone stays safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other community members that wish to speak? I don't see raised hands or a physical raised hand. So if you're out there, feel free to unmute your microphone and share your comment.
All right.
Madam President.
Okay. All right. May I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
Motion.
Second, Ramba.
Okay, Rubino and Ramba. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, moving on to resolutions. May I have a motion to approve items 1B through 3B?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I think that was Elisa and Mrs. Tuck. You're putting my voice recognition skills to the test now.
Ms. Joe.
Yes.
Ms. Colbath.
Yes.
Mr. DeMeglio.
Yes.
Ms. Morel.
On mute.
Oh, she's muted.
Ms. Morel.
Yes on 2B, I'm abstaining on 1B.
Thank you. So noted. Ms. Richter.
Yes.
Ms. Ramba.
Yes.
Mr. Rubino.
Yes.
Ms. Tuck.
Yes.
Ms. Han Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve item 1B and G?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, That was Ms. Cho and Mrs. Ramba.
Ms. Morel.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hans Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve items 1 CUR and 2 CUR?
Motion, Ramba.
Second.
Second by Colbath.
Okay.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hans Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve items 1F through 6F?
Motion, Ramba.
Second, Joe.
Second, Morel.
Okay, I heard Morel, even though I think there was someone before Morel.
Ramos. Shade the motion, I made second.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hans Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve items 1P through 3P and 5P through 8P?
Motion, Morel.
Ramba, second.
Morel and Ramba, Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck, Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hans Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve item 1 POL?
Motion Colbath
Second, Morel.
with my little pink flamingo.
Ms.
Oh
Ms.
my God.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
My paper clips.
Nice.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes, absolutely.
Mr.
100%.
Mr. Demaglio,
Come on, Ralph.
Yes, indeed, of course.
Ms. Morel,
Absolutely.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hans Silver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving on.
Woo!
Is there any old business?
Finally.
Any old business? Can we even remember anything before
No.
all this happened? Is there any new business?
I have one question with everything, and I know what the answer is going to be. This is for Ken. With all the uncertainties that are around, which is everywhere. I mean, nobody knows what an hour is going to bring, much less tomorrow. We have any idea, or have we had a plan B for prom or graduation for the seniors? I mean, as a mom of a senior, I feel so bad that, he's just not getting that experience. And it's unfortunate, but,
Holly, there's no contingency plan yet. It's still March. We'll have to see how we progress. I would hope that we can still keep graduation in place and any other major events towards the end of the year. But right now, there's no way of knowing.
I know.
I mean, I'm working backwards. My goal would be that graduation will still be the same day.
From your lips.
And we'll be permitted to have graduation.
Yeah.
I can't
Thank
give you
you.
a better answer right now.
Right. I know. I was just wondering about prom and obviously there's no production for yearbook.
I don't know, honestly. The vast majority of the yearbook is probably completed,
Mhm.
but I don't know the status. I'll have to reach out and find out. But, as far as prioritizing activities, we need to get back to school first. And to me,
Right.
graduation would be the number one priority.
Right. Thank you.
I do have a message from a community member that says, and her name is Mimi Jean Lewis, and she shares, she truly hopes that we and our families are all staying safe and sound. She's sending all the support. She thinks the administration is doing an absolute excellent job in getting all the information needed out. We're definitely in a different time. We're definitely in different times, and I'm sure we will be going through a few phases till the curve is flattened. And that, again, is from Miss Mimi Jean Lewis. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mimi. It's very true sentiments.
Thanks, Mimi.
And could I just ask, actually, since we did approve the roofing, is there any kind of warranty associated with that job that we're going to have?
I believe so, but I would have to get back to you on the length of the warranty. I think roof warranties are typically, I don't remember. I want to say 10 years, but I don't know if that's.
I think you're right.
I agree with you. I think it's 10.
I think so
I think
too.
so too.
Just want to make sure.
We're actually pretty excited about that bid. It came in much less than we budgeted, so.
Oh, good.
Good for us.
That's always a bit of good news.
To do with the roof, but I don't know if everybody got the email from Pure Edge, but Ken, I thought that might be something worth including in your next update too, about the free webinars that they're hosting to boost well-being every day, and just different like brain breaks and stress, anxiety relieving.
I didn't receive that, Lauren.
Oh, I will forward it then. Okay.
Okay, great.
That would be something really great to share. We all
We
really,
all have stress.
For the
we all
adults.
really need that right now. Okay. All right. Any other new business from anybody? All
Oh, and
right.
if you can give Jason, sorry, a big thumbs up for everything you're doing for our district. once he
Yeah,
went
thank you,
online. So
Jason.
thank you.
I know.
Thanks, Jason.
As situation changes, I will keep you informed as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. Well, then can I have, with that, thank you, everybody. This was certainly a new experience
Yes,
for
thank
all
you,
of us.
Lakeisha. for
I know.
figuring it
And Sharon, the whole team, thank you.
I know. All right. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right. Motion Morel, second by Cho. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
All right. Any opposed or abstentions? All right. Well, have a good night. Everyone stay safe.
Yay.
Right?
Stay well, everybody.
Stay well.
All right.
Well, be
Bye.
healthy.
Thank you.
Wash your hands.
See you
Wash your hands.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.